Right now, we are digging into the three steps, the three biggest steps you can take across your private practice in order to generate 15 plus referrals on a monthly basis. If you're just watching this video for the first time, my name is Joshua. I'm one of the founders of Therapy Flow. We help therapists with done-for-you marketing services and coaching in order to help you scale your private practice to multi-6 and multi-7 figures. And what I want to do today is really just boil down the nuts and bolts of what will help you generate 10 to 15 ideal client referrals on a monthly basis. That could be insurance, that could also be cash pay. It might be more simple than you think, and it's supposed to be that way because it is a pretty simple process. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive in. Before I give you the secrets to 10 to 15 appointments on a monthly basis, what I really want to talk about is the overall framework for private practice. To really boil down private practice right now, if you want a thriving private practice, single or group, it's set appointments, it's close those appointments, and it's complete service with your clients. As long as you can do these three things, that's it. That is the entire process. And the component we're talking about right now is how do we set more appointments? How do we get more referrals? How do we get more referrals that will hop on a consultation with us? Now, you've heard all of the terms before. Get on listing sites, have a website, network, get on insurance panels, so on and so forth. Those might be true things, but I want to show you typically where the process is breaking down for most therapists in a three-step process. Before we get into the specific ways you do it, to boil down the process of generating referrals, you have to have traffic and clicks, you have to have a strong brand, and you have to have an asset that converts. You have to have people looking at you. You have to have people interested in you and your service. Then you have to have a brand, a license, a niche, a video, whatever it is that they're experiencing that makes them actually want to work with you. And then you have to have something that's going to allow them to take the next step. Schedule that consultation, send an email, have a phone call with you, whatever it is. It's that simple. You need to generate enough traffic that goes to a strong brand to an asset that converts. And I'll give you a couple examples in a second here. This is your entire business, referral generation and client closing. That's these first two steps, set appointments and close appointments, right? I have nothing to do with how you do therapy, but I can help you a lot with step 1 and 2. Referral generation, traffic and clicks, strong brand, asset. For the client closing, typically it's a consult. You ask for the close, you sign them up for therapy, and you do the therapy until they're no longer a client. So it's this first part that you need to do more of in order to do the second part. When we talk to counselors on a monthly basis, I've talked to thousands of counselors at this point. Sometimes you're talking to enough people, but you don't have enough clients. That means it's a closing issue. Typically, it's a referral generating issue. So let's chat about that. Let's give you one case example, the most common case example that works really well for some therapists and doesn't work well for others. And that's listing sites, right? In this scenario, the listing site is actually the one generating the traffic for you. This is why they're so valuable. Someone else is paying for the clicks and doing all of the work to generate eyes on your business. Then when someone clicks on your profile, they're reading your copy. So you have an individual profile on a listing site. They're the one generating all the clicks. And if you do it right, you'll get 10 to 15 referrals. But here's the problem. When you're either paying for a free listing site or you're only paying $30 a month for something like a Psych Today, they don't have a lot to work with in terms of generating clicks. And they also aren't super incentivized to get you results. So whatever they're doing to help generate traffic to your individual profile is not super incentivized. And that's why most people aren't getting 10 to 15 referrals from a listing site. So you're like, oh, great. How about I get listing site number 1, listing site number 2, and you're on 3 or 4 listing sites and you're getting maybe 3 or 4 referrals on a monthly basis. That's not enough to keep a full caseload. You need 15 plus a month probably to make that happen. So if you want this scenario to work for you in a scalable way, I'm not kidding here, you probably need to be on 10 to 15 listing sites. And if that sounds crazy to you, it probably is. 10 to 15 sites. What you need to understand is if you're only getting 1 to 2 referrals a month from those sites, you can't just hope and pray that they're going to generate more for you. You either have to do a different 3-step process with a different set of assets, which we'll get into in a second here, or you have to repeat this step until it gets the result you want. So if Psychology Today and Therapy Den and Good Therapy and whatever your other one listing site is only generating you 4 or 5 referrals, you have to multiply that by 3 in order to hit 15 referrals plus a month. If you want to only be on listing sites, which is totally okay, just know you're going to have to find 10 to 15 of them to be on. So if you want 10 to 15 a month referrals from this, that's probably 10 to 15 referral sites. And that's okay. There are better ways to go about this, more advanced ways to go about this. So let's take a look at scenario number 2. Let's generate our traffic using SEO. We'll, maybe share a couple examples in a second on what that even means. We'll send them to strong website copy, and the asset is going to be the website. If we do this correctly, we will generate clients for us. And we just have to do enough SEO in a great enough volume in order to generate 10 to 15 referrals. But the difference is I can choose how much SEO I want to do. I can't choose how much traffic Psych Today sends me to my listing site, but I can choose how much SEO I want to do. Typically, SEO takes 3 to 6 months to see good results for, so that's a factor. But things that help SEO is blogging. What else is backlinking? Is press features, and other is your Google My Business and other things like that. Great. We generate traffic through SEO. We send it to strong website copy that's on our website that we own. You will get 10 to 15 a month referrals for you. If you're saying, oh, I have a website and it never generates referrals for me, you probably don't have enough traffic. If you're saying, oh, I track my traffic and I get 500 visitors on a monthly basis, but I only get 1 or 2 referrals, well, your website copy probably isn't strong enough. No one wants to work with you. So let's go to scenario number 2. We'll do a website again. We'll have strong website copy, but we're going to generate traffic or clicks using Facebook ad and Google ads. And this is the one that I want to pay special note to. In our experience, every couple $100s that you spend in either Google ads or Facebook ads typically results in 10 to 15 new referrals. However, I guarantee you, if you spend $1,000 correctly in either Facebook or Google ads, you will generate 10 to 15 referrals. So let's do the math on that really fast here, okay? You spend $1,000, right? 1K on ads. Geez, that's a lot of money. That's 12K in a year. And you only make $100 maybe more, maybe less, but let's say $100 a session. $100 a session. Well, let's map this out. 4 sessions in a month, minimum 3 months is $1,200. Most counselors make between $2,500 and $6,000 off of a single client over the lifetime value of a client. But we're using really conservative numbers here. That means if you make $1,200 off this, you only have to get 10 clients a year from this to break even. But I guarantee you, you're going to get a lot more than 10 clients if you spend $1,000 on an ad. So if we take that other number where we're typically getting probably about 30 referrals for 1K, 30 referrals for 1K. Let's say you have a really bad close ratio and you convert 15 clients. Well, what's 15 times 1,200? It's going to be a lot larger. That is your annual income right there. We want to take even smaller numbers. You will generate, if you only get 10 clients, that's a 30% close ratio, 10 clients from the $1,000 on ads. If they generate around $1,200, which they'll generate more for you typically, that's $12,000 you make for every 1K you spend. So if you came to this video looking for how to generate a true 10 to 15 a month referrals in a stress-free way, go grab $1,000. It sounds like a lot of money. Spend that on a monthly basis. Get someone else to manage it, like Therapy Flow, but get someone else to manage it or do it yourself if you know how. Generate 30 referrals for yourself with that $1,000. Close 10 of them, which is a pretty realistic thing, and make 12 grand at least every single month for those 10 clients that you close. So if you want to go back to the basics of this, we need a traffic source that produces good traffic, good clicks. We need a brand that converts, and we need an asset to send it to. In this scenario, we can run Facebook ads to a website with strong website copy, so we know they'll book consultations and we know that you'll run a good consultation. Spend $1,000, generate 30 referrals, which is very reasonable for spending $1,000 on ads. Close 10 clients, which is also a very reasonable rate. Make 12 grand for every 10 clients that you close. Now we have one more scenario. We've got something like Google My Business posts. So you create a Google My Business, you update it, you make changes, that's what's going to create the traffic is the Google My Business posts. Then you've got the call to action on your Google My Business, and the Google My Business is the asset that's producing it. But you need the posts to generate the clicks and the traffic. And then we have something like word of mouth. You just have an email address. That's the asset it's being sent to. You have your reputation to rely on, and then word of mouth generates referrals. And then you have something like TikTok. You've got a LinkedIn profile. That's your asset. You produce great content in your TikTok, and then the TikTok itself helps produces those clicks. It's kind of like the listing site. It's doing some of the work for you. It's low-hanging fruit. So when you really think about this process that I just laid out for you, you can generate traffic, create a strong brand, and produce an asset that converts in 10 or 15 different ways. So if you aren't getting 10 to 15 referrals a month, one of two things needs to happen. Either one, you need to introduce new traffic sources, or number two, you need to fix the sources of traffic that you already have. AKA, if you only get a couple people who click on your Psych Today profile, that's never going to work for you. You need to introduce other traffic sources to generate those referrals. However, if you have like a website and you get 1,000 people that visit your website and very few referrals, well, you probably need to fix the website before you try and generate more traffic. Drop comments on whatever form of video that you're watching. We'll get back to them and answer them. If you're looking for someone to run Facebook ads for you, if you're looking for someone to do branding or help you with your website brand, if you're looking for someone to break this down even further and get into the steps of getting some of these things up and running, shoot a message, reach out to us here at Therapy Flow, join our Facebook group and drop a comment in there with questions and comments. But I just want to get back to this overall framework. Your goal as a therapist, as the entrepreneur side of your brain, is to set appointments, close appointments, and complete the service. And if you can get that in your head, to set appointments, close appointments, and complete your service, and you do that really well, you will always have the lifeblood in your business that you need. If these are new concepts to you, celebrate that, because that means you're one step closer to building out a framework in your mind and in your business that works for you. I hope this helps, and I hope to chat with you soon.